Hello, everyone, and welcome to South by Southwest. My name is Angelique Jackson, film and media reporter at Variety, and thank you so much for joining us for this very special look at Clarice, a hero for a new generation. And joining me in this incredible panel and this look at this CBS original series are co-creators and executive producers Alex Kurtzman
Hi.
and Jenny Lumet, showrunner and executive producer Elizabeth Klavitter.
Hello.
Devin Tyler as Ardelia Mapp. And last but not least, our Clarice Starling herself, Rebecca Breeds. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Well, before we get to dive too much more into the series, let's all take a look at what you've seen so far.
Hello, Clarice. You are now a special agent of the Violent Crimes Task Force.
Just like that, huh?
Your friend Clarice. Bureau decided to shine a light on her, and overnight she's a star. How many times have you requested a transfer? I've been working security 7 years. I have a master's in biology. The Bureau picks who they want to shine a light on, and it's not people who look like us.
I need you to consider that given everything you've been through, maybe your perceptions aren't as solid as you think.
You're trying to gaslight me, sir. I know what's real and what's not. He thinks I'm the weak link.
You might be.
Attorney General Martin, we're all sorry about what happened to your daughter.
If you work out this hard, you have to eat more. Bill only took the larger women. I don't need to be a psychiatrist to put it together.
You're a Sagittarius, right?
I'm working. And even now, as I'm taking time away from saving lives, you're thinking, damn, she's so serious. Can she just lighten up?
You just gotta rub it on your skin a little.
Welcome to the FBI, Starling.
This morning, my boss offered you what I've been fighting for since I graduated, Quantico.
All right, I get it.
No, you don't. You won't listen. You won't listen because opportunity's like nothing to you.
I am just trying to find out how deep this goes.
Slow down.
Do not tell me to slow down. You catch up.
I want to get to a place where I'm not fighting the system. I'm building a new one.
What can I do?
The work.
With this series, we're not just getting a look at Clarice, which I think all fans, 30 years after The Silence of the Lambs would love to just spend more time with this character and learn more about her. But we're also getting a chance to learn a lot more about Ardelia, both their friendship, their work in the Bureau as women in the 90s. Why was it so important to get a chance to explore both of these women, Jenny?
Well, on one hand, I straight up will refuse to do the whole Black best friend thing. I straight up refuse to do it. I think it's a load of crap. And the Thomas Harris universe is very particular. It's a mosaic, and each character is really significant and makes an impact. So what does it mean to be two 24-year-old women in an FBI academy that is 90% white and male? What does it mean to have an interracial friendship? That's a thing. And the friendships between these two women, I think, were their sustenance while they were at the academy, and certainly are their sustenance now. It wouldn't be half as fun, but it wouldn't be half as real. What blew my mind about Clarice was how much wasn't in the book or in the movie. I want to know what she and Ardelia talked about late at night. I want to know how they protected each other. And it seems like a time when people are rediscovering who they are after trauma. It was like a no-brainer to live in the world of Clarice and Ardelia.
Alex, how did you see it?
Ardelia was probably the person who stayed up with Clarice as she woke up all those nights from those horrible dreams. And their friendship is so deep. And there's a moment in the fourth episode that just kills me because it speaks to how close, Bex and Devin are, but it also to how close the characters are. And it's this moment where she comes into Ardelia's office, and Ardelia has made such a point that Clarice has finally understood how much she has to do to open her eyes to wake up to what's going on. And what she's also trying to express is, but you're my best friend and you're really the only person that I can talk to for real at the deepest level. And that level of complication, when the person who is the only person you can really share your true self with has this issue, this barrier that you both have to confront in order to take your friendship to the next level, and be honest and be true. The hope is that it will inspire people to have more honest conversations about, the incredible disparity of privilege between people of color and Caucasian people when it comes to just the jobs that are handed to you. So that was really what we were going for here. And, I think, again, Bex and Devin, they deliver it with such beauty and power and truth that it's really lovely to see.
Ladies, what is it like getting to explore that kind of relationship on screen? Because, like Alex just alluded to, we often don't get a chance to really explore female friendships as much as we would like to see. So as actresses and as actors, what is it like to get to spend so much time kind of figuring out who these two women are to each other?
From the moment Devin and I met, we just had this, I got you. And I think there's such a facade that Clarice needs to carry in her work life to be taken seriously. And when she sees Ardelia, it is like all of that can just drop off for a minute, and she can be vulnerable, and she can be truthful and authentic, and she can be weak. She can lose it and have it all fall apart in the presence of Ardelia, because there's such a love there. And so whenever, Devin and I are in a scene together, it's just kind of effortless. I feel like I can't hide anything because she's got these big, beautiful eyes that just bore into me. And she's one of the most vulnerable, available, heartfelt, are you hydrated? Are you taking care of yourself? Like, lovely people I've ever had the privilege to meet. So, even that scene that you referenced, Alex, and I walk into the room and I see her, like, it was effortless. All I had to do was look into Devin's eyes and I was like, sobbing, I love you. Don't leave me. I need you, and it is, I think love is the antidote. Love is the perfect path out of ignorance and into understanding, and to have this lesson happen in a relationship that is got so much love is the perfect setting for it.
I just want to say that Rebecca is an absolute gem. And I think that one of the wonderful things about doing this is that this is really, you really get to take that life with you. These are conversations, as Alex mentioned, these are conversations that have been had, they should be had. And so to be able to actually give that time on air, to give that time in the room, to give that time as an artist, and then to also let people watch in real time how these conversations happen, I think is wonderful. And it's a privilege and it's a joy to be able to do something that real today.
And of course, Devin, you are stepping into a character that was so memorably played by the great Casey Lemons. So this is not like Jenny said, this is not just the Black best friend role, and getting to really fill out her story and her perspective. What has that experience been like?
I love the way she's written. I love that she actually gets to say these things. I've thought a lot of these things. I think that there's going to be a really beautiful opportunity for viewers who have been in these situations and who have felt these things, who have had friendships like this, an opportunity for the words to actually come out. They actually come out. You know what I mean? We're actually having these hard conversations. And so seeing that she's not relegated to the Black best friend, what? It's one of the most refreshing and inspiring things. And I'm so excited that you have these layers and these nuances. And also that they're dynamic. She's just dynamic, and it's great. A lot of times if you're dealing with, opportunities for people of color, the air gets taken out of them. They get very flat. And so the opportunity to dive this deep and to have these many passes at these conversations, at these moments is a complete joy. Absolutely.
Rebecca, I'm going to kind of take it over to you in adding to the history of Clarice and like I just mentioned to Devin about playing someone that Casey Lemons played. You're playing someone that Jodie Foster has brought up to the screen, Julianne Moore. what has it been like getting to kind of create your own Clarice and getting to make sure people understand a little bit more about how she ticks as the protagonist of this story?
So if I got stuck in trying to purely emulate Julianne or Jodie's performance, well, that was contextually a very different point in Clarice's life. One of the ways I have been able to pay homage to Jodie and Julianne is to do what they would have done, which is to just reference the book and find the truth of the quintessential nature of who Clarice is, her hurts, her trauma, her hopes, her dreams, what drives her, and just put that through my instrument and know that the truth of the character will sing through me as long as I'm being truthful to who she is. But also, like, it's you know, with having Elizabeth and Jenny and Alex and the rest of our incredible writers, you know, we get to continue to unfold how she might respond in this situation, or, you know, develop her sense of humor, or who she might be attracted to. Does she dance? I don't know. You know, what does she eat? You know, how does she respond to these absurd situations? Is she going to deal with her trauma, you know, or is she not? Is she just going to continue to push it down or use it to fuel her as an agent? Like, all these things remain to be seen, and we get to unfold and create them. So I have these wonderful kind of train tracks that are like, okay, this is who she is, but like where they go is kind of up to us, and we're creating that. And that's been so fun.
Elizabeth, kind of talk to us more about creating that and creating the layers to this friendship, also creating these layers to what we're learning about Clarice as we go.
I think for myself and all of the writers on staff, like what Rebecca was talking about, we're all incredible Thomas Harris fans who are constantly going back to the source material, who are constantly watching the movie and reading the books. So there's so much to draw from there. So that's one piece of it. And then the other piece of it is it's become incredibly personal to all of us, very vulnerable for all of us and very intimate. And that's definitely carried over into my relationships with Devin and with Rebecca, and just like the deep, deep work we do in conversations and how vulnerable we become with each other, just finding where the material lies and how we move forward.
Devin and Rebecca, what was it like going through, I know we've kind of referenced those scenes already, but adding that layer of understanding, okay, it'd be one thing if these two were just friends, but these are two friends also trying to work together at the same time.
It is the most fascinating thing to be able to, I mean, you know, pass through the private life and also the workplace with the same person. Like the fact that we actually get to look at that and see what conversations they can have. We have a lot of moments of, you know, there will be scenes where Ardelia and Clarice are like, you know, at work and they want to have a conversation that they could have at home, but it's like, you know, there are people around, there are people watching. There's this element of surveillance, and there's this element of when can we really be ourselves?
You know, I'm loving even exploring just the, you know, like Clarice has grown up in orphanages and foster homes and all that kind of stuff. And I love that, like, there's even that dynamic there that living with my best friend is the closest thing to being with my family, to living with my family that I had since my dad died. So there's a magnitude to that, which I think is like, it's present, but it's very quiet because she's trying to be cool. No, this is cool. Like there's this lovely moment that we kind of ad-libbed, sorry guys, where like we're in a scene and like we're chatting and like throw my feet up on the couch. She's like, get your feet off my couch. I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. You know, but I love it because it's like, oh yeah, I haven't played house with anyone I love before since I was a kid, and that went really badly. So like there's this wonderful, just the human, like outside of work, there's the human element of like, ooh, who's cooking and who's the sensible one and who's the clean one and who's the mess, and you know, do we borrow each other's shoes, and like, do we help each other with makeup tips, like gal pal stuff that's really fun to see, and especially to create that because it's a very we're working like it's real stuff, you know, like justice for you know brutalized women and just people. You know, what we do at the FBI is super important, and then the dynamic at the FBI and what we're fighting for there is super important. So it's just nice to have a breath and have a little bit of juxtaposition where they're just home together. And we're just like, having dinner, or like those little moments for me on set as an actress. Like I do a lot of heavy stuff. So when it's like Devin and I at home, it's like, it's as much a breath air for me as an artist as it is just for Clarice as a human. And so I think it really, that comes through in the scenes of like, oh, thank God, it's just you and me.
It's so funny, Rebecca, because I keep talking about what's not in the book, what's not in the book. And one of the things that I drove Alex crazy with and Elizabeth crazy with was like, did she ever go home for like Christmas or Thanksgiving and have dinner with her family? And my vibe was no, she didn't. We don't know. But I was like, no, I don't think she did. And how did she, if she went from her home at 9 to her uncle's sheep ranch, to the Lutheran orphanage, to University of Virginia, to VICAP. So this woman has lived in an institution and been a guest of an institution for her entire life. She's had to essentially sing for her supper. Now, I thought that that was an interesting parallel, though not the same, to the notion of person of color in the United States. You feel like a guest. You're like, no, and I'm not equating the experiences, but I was interested in Clarice's understanding of living on borrowed time, because she was always on, she knew at some point she has to leave all these places. And if she doesn't play by the rules, she gets expelled from these places. And again, it's different for people of color. And I was interested in that understanding.
When you think about the way that this series adds to kind of the legacy of the character and what you guys do want to do next, kind of, if everyone could give me like 1 or 2 words for what you want to see Clarice kind of mean to this lexicon of Clarice Starling stories.
The word that's popping into my mind is affirming. And I feel like she affirmed a lot of things for me when I saw the movie. And I think she continues to do that now.
What did she affirm for you when you saw the movie?
That you should never underestimate the person just because they're smaller or because they're a woman or, all of the things that people prejudge Clarice on when she walks into a room. She's the smartest person in the room, and maybe with the exception of Ardelia, who's equally matched with her, and maybe Ardelia in some ways is even smarter. I think there's a lot of underestimating of her, right? But she does not give up or stop ever. And she will not rest until justice is served. And that is really at the core of who the character is. And it has a lot to do with her core wounds, and it has a lot to do with her childhood, but that relentless pursuit of it. I mean, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the scene with Crawford where after that incredible scene in the funeral home, she says, the way you referred to me, it matters, right? It matters in the eyes of these men. And he sort of kind of beautifully says, point taken. And she has this way, as Jenny articulated, I think because she grew up in institutions where she had to play by certain rules, where she knows how to make her point, but she knows how to do it in a way that, funnily enough, still kind of plays within the rules, right? So people can hear her. She can get Crawford to hear, but then she can walk into that funeral home and like turn on her Appalachian accent, tie her kerchief behind her head, which is in the novel, but not, and shift into a place where those men will hear her because of her dialect, right? So she always knows how to get what she's going for. And that level of intelligence and shrewdness and honesty, I think, is very, very affirming. So, I think she's just a real hero.
I would agree. Deliberate, honest, direct. That's something that also stands out in the communication between Ardelia and Clarice as well. Elizabeth, I'll go to you next.
I think this is the place where we're watching Clarice choose her chosen family. She's selecting the people who she will receive support from, who she will become part of a team for, while she remains fiercely independent and fiercely, uniquely intelligent in a solo way, right? The SU is a solo arc, but here we watch her find a chosen family.
Jenny, for you?
2 things. One, just going back to what Alex said about being able to code switch and negotiate space. I mean, every person who doesn't live under the umbrella of safety knows how to do those things. So Alex just gave a shout out to all the ladies. So thanks, Alex. But these are some ferocious women. And Elizabeth, sorry, Alex, I'm not talking about you. Elizabeth is a pretty ferocious mind as well. And that thrills me, that there is space for ferocious women on television. Everybody just back up. Just back up.
I love that. Devin and Rebecca, we will end it on the two of you.
The word that comes to mind for me that I got from Alex and Jenny Elizabeth, Jenny talks a lot about humanity, and talks a lot about how important it is, how humans are important. And I think that in an instance like this, where there's this world that we're so privileged to be playing in, this Thomas Harris world, it's something that people respect. It's something that people are inspired by, and it's not something to take for granted. So the fact that there's just a lot of humanity that's being breathed into this project from the ground up. So it transpires in how we talk to each other. It is important to acknowledge that humanity because we are operating in a full pandemic, a whole entire pandemic. You know what I mean? So there's this level of being grounded, and this, like, you know, we have this ferocity, but we also have this humanity of these are real people. You know what I mean? Like, it's a story about people. We're seeing Clarice, and we're seeing all of the things that make her up as a person, and she's whole. And that's really, really exciting to see a whole female protagonist on television. We need that. So I'm excited.
All right, Rebecca, take us home.
Well, it's funny, just what comes to mind for me is probably an ethos that Clarice and I share. And it's funny, Lecter says, it's the thing you want more than anything else. And she goes, what is that? And he says, advancement. And he's not, I don't think he's wrong, but I don't think he's fully right. And something that I love the concept of is taking higher ground. If we're not here to take high ground, what are we here for? Like, if we're not moving forward, if we're not moving higher, like, what are we, as a race, as people, as a show, what are we here for if we're not here taking higher ground? So I think she's here to break through those glass ceilings and to take higher ground, you know, to show that, yes, this is possible, and no, I won't stand for that, and that's unacceptable. Oh my gosh, I need to learn. I need to take higher ground. I need to move higher in this, and, like, you know, teach me this, and how can I learn? And, you know, all right, I'll go to therapy. Okay, I'll do the work. I'll take higher ground. And it's fucking painful. It hurts. It's not easy. You know, it's uphill, and it takes your breath away, but it's worth it because the view's phenomenal. And I think we get to do that in this show. We're going to see her doggedly just take higher ground with every episode, and she will not. I think that's the thing. It just will drive her and drive her and drive her because she can, because she's capable, and because why else are we here? Why else is she here? You know, and I think she does dream of a humanity that can be better. And I think we're all dreaming of that. And I think that's why we're here making the show.
We're doing something that I feel like we haven't really seen on television, which is we're kind of, by design, fusing the streaming model with the television procedural model. And I think some people don't know have to put it in one box or the other, and don't understand that they can't, like, when you know, the idea of higher ground that Bex is talking about, like, what is the next version of how to tell a story, right? That's what we should be asking ourselves now.
Yeah.
I think that we're in the zone, hopefully, of that, you know?
Absolutely. I think the fans would agree. We've gotten a taste of what you guys have already brought us with Clarice, and we can't wait to see where this series is going and doing just that, taking higher ground with this ferocious female protagonist that, as Devin just said, is a whole female protagonist, and as well as Ardelia as well. This is such a great series. Thank you guys all so much to the fans for watching as part of South by Southwest, and thank you all for being with me to talk about Clarice.
Thank you, Angelique.
Thank you, Angelique.
Thanks, guys.
You.
And thank you to the South by Southwest viewers for tuning in to this conversation. Clarice will be back with new episodes on April 1st. And please, if your friends haven't watched the series yet, or you seem to have missed an episode or two, you can stream the series anytime on CBS.